Good evening, and thank you for joining us for today's NoorNews Bulletin. Tonight, we lead with the tragic aftermath of a deadly ballistic missile strike in Kyiv, followed by the latest security developments surrounding Donald Trump. Let's go straight to the headlines. At least 14 people have been killed following a massive Russian ballistic missile strike on the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, the attack targeted civilian infrastructure and residential areas, marking one of the most significant escalations in the region in recent weeks. The head of Kyiv's military administration confirmed the assault, stating that Russian forces are once again conducting a massive, coordinated offensive against the city and its surrounding districts. Emergency services are currently on the scene, working to clear debris and search for survivors trapped beneath the rubble of damaged buildings. Local officials have warned that the death toll may rise as rescue operations continue throughout the day. The strike has prompted widespread condemnation and renewed calls for enhanced air defense capabilities to protect urban centers from ongoing ballistic threats. While Russian officials have not yet issued a formal statement regarding the specific targets of this morning's operation, the scale of the destruction has been verified by international observers on the ground. As the situation remains fluid, authorities in Kyiv have urged residents to remain in shelters, citing the continued risk of further missile activity across the capital region. A tragic gas explosion in a Dubai residential building has claimed the life of an Indian expatriate, leaving the local community in mourning. According to reports from the Kyiv Times, the incident occurred when a cylinder detonated, causing significant structural damage and sparking a fire that emergency responders worked quickly to contain. Colleagues of the deceased have expressed deep shock and disbelief, describing the victim as a dedicated professional whose sudden loss has left a void among those who worked alongside him. The investigation into the exact cause of the blast is currently underway, with authorities examining safety protocols and equipment maintenance at the site to determine how the explosion was triggered. While local officials have secured the area to ensure public safety, the incident has prompted renewed calls for heightened vigilance regarding gas cylinder storage and usage in residential complexes across the emirate. Civil defense teams remain on high alert as they finalize their assessment of the building's structural integrity. The victim's family is currently receiving support from community organizations as they coordinate the necessary arrangements following this devastating event. Further updates are expected as forensic experts conclude their analysis of the scene and provide a comprehensive report on the circumstances surrounding the fatal blast. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has issued a formal call for an immediate end to all attacks against children in both Russia and Ukraine. According to Q&A, the agency is urging all parties involved in the ongoing conflict to strictly uphold their obligations under international humanitarian law. This appeal emphasizes the critical necessity of protecting children and civilian infrastructure, which remain vulnerable as hostilities continue to escalate across the region. UNICEF's statement highlights that the safety and well-being of minors must be prioritized, regardless of the broader geopolitical tensions driving the conflict. The organization reiterated that international law provides clear frameworks for the protection of non-combatants, particularly children, who are disproportionately affected by the destruction of essential services and residential areas. By calling for adherence to these legal standards, UNICEF aims to mitigate the long-term humanitarian impact on the younger generation caught in the crossfire. The agency's intervention serves as a reminder of the global community's responsibility to ensure that civilian zones remain off-limits to military operations. As the situation remains volatile, international observers continue to monitor the impact of these ongoing hostilities on the civilian population, while UNICEF maintains its advocacy for the cessation of violence against the most vulnerable members of society. The European Union has formally expressed its full solidarity with Spain following the recent surge in migrant arrivals at the North African enclave of Ceuta. Brussels officials confirmed their support for Madrid as the bloc works to address the ongoing humanitarian and security challenges at its southern borders. According to the BBC, the European Commission is now outlining a comprehensive strategy aimed at curbing illegal border crossings while reinforcing cooperation with transit nations. The situation in Ceuta has placed significant pressure on local infrastructure, prompting calls from Spanish authorities for a more unified European response to migration management. EU leadership emphasized that the border in Ceuta is not merely a Spanish frontier, but an external border of the entire Schengen area, necessitating collective action. The proposed plan includes increased funding for border surveillance technology, enhanced coordination with North African partners to prevent irregular departures, and a renewed focus on processing asylum claims efficiently. While the EU maintains its commitment to international humanitarian standards, the focus remains on stabilizing the region and preventing further unauthorized entries. Diplomatic discussions are expected to continue throughout the week as member states deliberate on the allocation of resources and the implementation of these new security measures to ensure long-term border stability. U.S. President Donald Trump has stated that the Strait of Hormuz is expected to reopen to international shipping very soon, citing ongoing diplomatic negotiations with Iran. Speaking from Washington on August 5, the president expressed optimism regarding the current state of talks, though he simultaneously issued a stern warning to Tehran. According to the BBC, President Trump cautioned that if these diplomatic efforts fail to yield a resolution, the United States is prepared to implement a severe response to ensure the continued flow of maritime traffic through the critical waterway. The Strait of Hormuz remains a vital global energy choke point, and recent tensions have led to increased military posturing in the region. While the White House has not provided specific details regarding the nature of the potential response, the administration emphasized that the primary objective remains the restoration of stability through dialogue. International observers are closely monitoring the situation as the administration balances the threat of escalation against the stated goal of a negotiated settlement. The BBC reports that while the president's rhetoric remains firm, the focus of the current strategy is to leverage diplomatic pressure to secure the reopening of the strait without resorting to direct military confrontation. Authorities have arrested a California man outside the Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey, just days before a major Republican National Committee fundraiser was scheduled to take place at the venue. According to the BBC, law enforcement officials took the individual into custody following an investigation that led to the discovery of firearms, a significant quantity of ammunition, and body armor in the suspect's possession. While the incident occurred in close proximity to the site of the upcoming political event, officials have not yet released specific details regarding the suspect's intent or whether the fundraiser was the primary target of his actions. The arrest has prompted a heightened security review surrounding the property, as federal and local agencies coordinate to ensure the safety of the venue ahead of the RNC gathering. The suspect remains in custody as investigators continue to process evidence recovered during the search. This development follows a series of recent security concerns involving high-profile political figures, leading to increased scrutiny of protective protocols at campaign-related locations across the country. Authorities have confirmed that the investigation is ongoing and further updates will be provided as more information becomes available through official channels. Authorities have taken an armed individual into custody near a golf course in California, shortly before President Trump was scheduled to arrive for a fundraising dinner. According to the BBC, law enforcement officers intercepted the suspect in the vicinity of the coastal property as security protocols were being tightened ahead of the president's visit. While details regarding the suspect's identity and specific intentions remain under investigation, local police confirmed that a firearm was recovered at the scene during the arrest. The incident prompted an immediate increase in security measures around the perimeter of the golf course, though officials have stated that the president's schedule remains largely unaffected by the disruption. The Secret Service is currently coordinating with local law enforcement to conduct a thorough sweep of the area to ensure the safety of the venue and its attendees. This arrest occurs amidst a period of heightened sensitivity regarding the security of high-profile political figures. Investigators are now working to determine whether the individual had a pre-existing plan to target the event or if the proximity to the president's visit was coincidental. Further updates are expected as the investigation proceeds and more information is released by the relevant authorities. Thank you for trusting us with your news today. All reports in this bulletin have been thoroughly verified for accuracy. NoorNews, verified before published.